Alright. Wow, let's see what's going on here. It's too loud, sorry. This is what I'm listening to. I'm gonna give you a little my mood here. Alright, so we got a big old sell-off here. I saw some big spike down. So I thought I'd light up a live stream and let's take a look. Let me turn on the screen for you guys. We got a green candle coming in. Well, let's see what we got in the order book here. So we were talking about sell walls and buy walls earlier and how they're not the end-all be-all, but I like watching the order book. So on the left-hand side, you see the spread, the actual orders coming in live. So what's interesting to watch about the order book is right now it's kind of busy and there's a lot of activity because we got a lot of, obviously this sell-off here prompted some volume. But you can see the orders coming in, this order sizes. What you can see is computers will dump orders one side or the other, that spread right as it comes live to eat up that orders on both sides of that. Anyway, so we're getting a green candle here, so maybe the sell-off is already over, it's a little wick down, but let's take a look at the live charts. Now, I didn't have time to get my whole thing all set up, so I've got Coinbase Pro on a guest account, so I don't have my live account going here. Hi all, hi everybody. So I've been contending, so we have this trend line here. What we're watching for is if we break this trend line right here, right now. And we're just going to keep an eye on this for just a minute. See what we got across the crypto landscape. ETH BTC is holding up here, consolidating. ADA is consolidating on the BTC chart, and Link is also doing well. Link maybe have a head and shoulders on the 4-hour, maybe. Let's watch this neckline. DOT. Looking good. It's like a double bull flag. But ETH USD. So I told somebody the other day we're not coming back down to 1,000. I'm gonna eat my words. We got a breakdown and we got this resistance. We got confirmation of it going back down. So we'll see if we get saved here. But this does look like it's coming down to this trend line here. We'll look at something on, let's look at the 50-day on ETH. 50 days way down here at 8. This is your 50-day. I think 50 days is the valid sell-off level. Does anybody know if there's any FUD going on out there? Hey. Yes, everything, I'm doing well. I understand a lot of people bought in the range 5 to 10. I'm confused who is selling right now. Oh, lots of people. The market's a dynamic two-way. People who believe the FUD and are freaking out about. I mean, yeah, on a Thursday at 4 p.m., who necessarily is selling? I don't know. Computers mostly. What the heck? I've got so many windows open. I didn't get a really good chance to get set up before I came live here. I'm trying to find the source of my music. Hold on. What the heck, man? Alright, I've got to organize my screens here. I got way too much stuff open. Where's that other window at? Put that on that. It's consolidated down. Close all those windows. That's my music is gone. Alright, alrighty. Now I can go back to, sorry. Alright, I just pulled up, I had a Coinbase Pro feed. If you smush this chart up enough, it looks like a nasty sell-off. It looks pretty bad. Alright, so why are we selling off? Did we get some other FUD going on here? There's got to be some event. Let's take a look at the order book. We've got a big buy wall at right below 30K currently. But that's a almost a little over 1,000 Bitcoin buy. This is probably going to end up being a big wick down, but we'll see. Let me light up some more music so I can keep my pace up here. Yeah. the name of the music I'm listening to is Ether Cyberpunk music. All right. Ooh, that is nasty. Well, we lost that trend line for now. Let's see if it ends up being a wick. That's confirmation down, right? But I mean, we're in an uptrend, so you would never actually sell that. But it's a test and rejection of that level. So we're looking for a lower level now here. Let's go to our daily. I got the 50 days, our closest moving average. I just got one line on here. Let's make this a 120. 120 is right at the prior all-time high. The 50 is what's gonna be the. I think the 20 day we've already closed way down below the 20. Yeah, 20 is way up there. 40, we're coming in at the 40 right now. There's the 40. Maybe that's the level to watch for this very moment in time. So it's right below that trend line. So I'm just going to put a little, move this down. All right, so we're about to print a lower low as well. Let me go look at something. Let's go to our 3 day. That's the low in the 3 day. Let's look at the 1 week. The low in the 1 week is that wick right there. So we got to stay above that wick right here. Got so many lines in this chart. We would have to on a week and wick below it, right? But on like at least a 4 hour, we just need to try to stay above that level. Let's draw this as a Heath line. Come on. Why are you not zooming in? I won't let me zoom in because it's. There's your Heath level. All right. So that's the level we gotta stay above. Yeah, it's good 2 weeks there. On like the 4 and 8 hour. I'm gonna get rid of the SMA because I'm moving these time frames around. All right. Yeah. Let's take a look at the order book again. It's very thin on the sell side, very strong on the buy side. I mean, that we were just talking about this in the chat, right? This is not the end-all be-all, so don't think this is going to be the key factor in all this. But this is something to just see market participant behavior and intent, right? This is what I use it for. It's just market intent. So we have a lot of buyers who are intent on buying between the price we're at now and 30,000, right? And you see the order book, the flow of orders coming in here. It's pretty even. We get these big chunks of buys. The big chunk of sells right there just came in. This computer's going to battle. Yeah, I don't know who's selling per se, but short sellers can sell too, right? So that's the thing, is that you get short sellers. You get it's a lot of volume though. Does somebody have a good volume? Volume's hard on crypto just because there's so many exchanges. It's like nearly impossible to figure out actual volume. Everybody has a good source of some volume data though. It'd be useful. Look at the chat. Yo, what's going on, Jordan? We're watching, everybody. We're watching the little bit of a sell-off here. Let's see if we hold this. I marked out what I call this Heath level. It's our weekly low from last week. I think hold that on the 4 or 8 hour, and we're in good shape. We can close below that, and it looks like maybe some more downward pressure's coming in, but we'll see if that holds. See if this ends up being. I think personally this will end up being a fake out wick down below this trend line is what I believe. But let's go to a low time frame and see what's bouncing around here. So 12 minute. It's the lowest I ever go is a 12 minute, and the reason is there's it's at 5 12-minute intervals in an hour, something like that. Is that right? I've used it for a long time for day trading. 60 divided by 12. Yeah, 5. It's 5 intervals per hour. You can see more on a day trade on a 12-minute. You can. A lot of traders trade on the 5 or the 10 or the 15. I like to trade in between them, so I can beat the 15-minute on like a 12-minute chart. I can beat the 15-minute guys on orders, but I'm given a little bit more time for things to shake out than like the 5-minute guys. I don't know. I haven't day traded in so long, so that doesn't really matter. All right, let's take a look at these comments here. Photos all over. Really bad. 89-year-old father says the mailman came to his house talking about it. CeLo. Yeah, CeLo's getting some attention. Stable coin. I don't have it on my chart, do I? It's go back. Let's take a look at the ETH. That's all the other charts here. Let's go to a reasonable time frame. I don't like looking at this short stuff. All right, yeah. ETH is still looking good. ETH versus BTC. These are the trades I'm in, right? So this is what I care about. The market's not selling off in my book. I don't see a sell-off. I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm looking good. All my trades are looking good. They're all in profit. They're all consolidating. Maybe for this head and shoulders might be a little bit of a worry. I have to keep an eye on that and link. But yeah, all my trades are looking good. Everything's fine in my world. But you guys in the USD charts, not looking so pretty. Look at this. ADA is going to come back down and test this breakout on the USD chart. Might get you. That might be a good place to lean in. Hey, you know, we get a resumption off of here. That's a really great opportunity, maybe to lean in there if you're looking to pick up some ADA. What do we got on Link? We're below that. Are we closed below that on the? It's still a daily. I'm still not going to flip that red yet because we haven't closed below it on the daily. Although it looks like we're going to. We have on the 12-hour. Closed below it, popped up above it, closed below it. This is Link USD, so that level is right at $20 and say $19.97. If we close below that on the daily, I'll flip it red, but I'm gonna wait. I'll wait for the daily to finish out. Dots at 15.77. These are all looking great. It's like no big deal. Another thing too to keep in mind, we were just at, so anybody who's freaking out about this little bit of a Bitcoin sell-off, I mean, literally, what is this? A month ago, we were consolidating. 21st. We were consolidating at 23,000 a month ago. 2 months ago was November the 21st. 2 months ago, we were all worried about a big sell-off coming into the prior all-time high, and we were talking like, is it going to come back? I was saying, incorrectly, that it was going to come back into 13, the Heath line. So just 2 months ago, we were thinking this thing was going to sell off back down to $13,000. So this perspective there, perspective. But let's keep watching this trend line. And that white Heath line, I'll make it a little bit bigger. If you guys aren't on Heath's channel watching his videos, he is the master of trading around liquidity. All right, let's take a look at these comments. So we got. Yeah, the 2017-2018 crash, George. This is reminiscent. Let me show you where we're at. Let me just show you something. Two things I want to show you. All right. This is reminiscent of the early phases of the bull run in 2017-2018 in my book. I'm going to show you something. If you guys probably use, I don't know who out there uses RSI, but a lot of people use the RSI. I don't really use it too much. I just use SMA for my trend lines, and it gives me a good read on things. So I just stick with SMA. But for those of you who use RSI, watch this. This is the weekly on the BLX. All right, this is our last bull market. I'm going to shade it in blue for you here. From the halving to the peak, and then this is our halving to where we've been today. Look how many spikes up on the RSI on the weekly that there were in the last bull market phase. And then they would sell off. So it would spike to like 90s, sell off to 60. Spike to 90, sell off to 60. So we are, let's look at the, let's look at a live, hold on. Let me go to a cleaner chart. There we go, this is better. This is just a clean chart, nothing on it, right? This is a Coinbase data feed. Nice clean chart for you to look at. So this is where the RSI is coming back into. So we should be like coming into 70 right now. Last cycle, where's my, take a look at this. The number of times we spiked up in the bull market to near 90 and then back down to, you know, say 60 or 50, 60. So we've come down from 90 to 70. So yeah, we've got a little bit more cooling off to do. Something else I want to bring your attention to though is the fact that the RSI can be cooling off while you're actually going up. So when you get really, really overbought, what can happen is that even as, especially when you're consolidating, as you go sideways, the RSI will cool off. Like for example, just look at this price action here. Let's zoom in on something. All right. You see this little spike in RSI right here? It dropped. I guess the market did drop. Let's look at the bull markets though. You maybe see this more clearly if I zoom in here. There's a couple times where the market right here, the market kind of more or less went sideways and the RSI cooled off. So here, there's a huge cool off in the RSI, and the market was, yeah, I mean, it dropped from 3,000 to 1,800, but that gave the RSI time to reset back to all the way down to 50 from 90, basically. So yeah, the RSI will cool off fast. You don't need necessarily a sell-off. You just need some consolidation for the RSI to cool off. So one thing to keep in mind as we look at this. But yeah, so we had that. We were super overheated on the weekly RSI. So the market was looking for a sell-off. So we got it. Let's see. I'll go back to the comments. What do you think about putting part of the BTC in 3x margin after the meltdown? ETH and BTC on sale. We can go lower, but how long will another leg down last? Jordan, that's a good question. How long will another leg down last? Well, let's take a look at this. The weekly here. So this is just, historical, but these bear patterns. So from this sell-off to the time that we retook that price, that was 70 days, roughly 60-something days. So we can have these cool-off periods of. And this one was pretty long, right? And the whole bull market should be, we have another at least 9 months of this probably. So we're going to get some prolonged consolidation periods. So I would say that we can. Somebody was asking the other day when I thought that we would break back, make new all-time highs, and I said not until early next month. Now I think we could break the upper part of this wedge on the daily. On the Bitcoin USD chart. We could probably break this upper part of the wedge at like 36-ish before the end of the month, but I don't think we're making new all-time highs until next month sometime. I've always kind of thought that, but this is my opinion. Yeah. Also, all you Bitcoin, all you US dollar people, y'all are losing. I'm not. I'm doing good. Doing just fine. I'm up like a bunch. I'm up like 70%, 75% on my Bitcoin trade position. That's not my entire Bitcoin position, so I'm up like 10% of my total Bitcoin position. All right, CeLO is one of the best teams in crypto. Let's take a look at CeLO. The chart that I care about, CeLO Bitcoin. Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious. Whoo! That is beautiful. That is beautiful. I'm not trading it because that's not available on Kraken, I don't think. Yeah, not available on Kraken. But beautiful. If you bought it, good job. Nice trade. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, I thought Alt's BTC chart, really different picture. Yeah, and it's more stable. It doesn't move around as much. It's much easier to find good entries. Like this, look at this. This is so much more, well, it's still not that bad. I mean, you can still find entries, find support, buy off support. But, what's going on with Bitcoin here again? We're still above that Heath level. Let's look at the USD charts on ETH, ADA one more time. Yeah. See if that outer trend line holds on ADA. It really just depends on what Bitcoin does, right? That's all. That's what really matters right now. Because like if you look at all of them, they're all tracking versus Bitcoin pretty well. They're holding up very well. They're just tracking down with him. They'll outperform on the way back up. So the other thing to keep in mind too, this is alt season. Let's talk about alt season for just a second. What is alt season? What do we expect to see in alt season? Here's our phases of alt season, if y'all can read that. Sorry about jumping around on the charts here. I know I need to stop doing that so much. Let me make this bigger. So here's our phases, right? You've got your rotation from Bitcoin into alts. Then you've got, as Bitcoin finishes consolidating, makes its next leg up, in the last cycle anyway, we'll see if it happens this cycle or not, the alts then, they were gaining strength versus Bitcoin as Bitcoin sold off in the rotation. And then as Bitcoin finished its consolidation, made another leg up, the alts went thermonuclear, or specifically Ethereum went thermonuclear ahead and outran Bitcoin. And then when Bitcoin sold off, then ETH sold off really big too, and we entered this kind of shakeout and bear trap phase, both on Bitcoin and those kind of prolonged consolidation and sell-offs, and also even more so on the altcoins. And then Bitcoin does its grand finale, and it just sucks the life out of all the altcoins when Bitcoin makes its big run, which should happen. So this rotation and FOMO phase are probably, we're looking at the first quarter for these two to play out, right? So this month is more the rotation, and then FOMO should start probably next month when Bitcoin gets back out of this wedge, assuming we hold up here. But when Bitcoin makes its next leg up, after consolidating, that's when the FOMO should kick in. So that's probably next month. So we're in the rotation phase right now still. But then what we want to watch for is we want to be out. We want to be out of the alts heavily anyway. I mean, it still holds. I still have my HODL position, but you want to be out of them, your heavier positions for this shakeout and bear trap. You just want to be holding Bitcoin for that, those prolonged sell-offs. And then the grand finale, you want to be holding Bitcoin because Bitcoin sucks the life out of everything. And then when Bitcoin makes its new all-time high and starts to sell off, then we have a final moon phase for the alts as kind of a second rotation out of Bitcoin into alts. So we'll see if all that plays out. We don't know. But all right, back to the thanks for the likes. Thanks, everybody. Bitcoin. Interesting RSI, short-term price action. Leg down, 30% correction. Thanks for the like. What's up, traders? What's up, Heath? We need to get me, Heath, and Jordan on a like a concurrent live session or something when there's some action like this one of these days. We'll work on. I'll keep bugging them about it. How will we know when the shakeout phase starts? I don't know that we'll know ahead of time exactly, but for me, it'll be when Bitcoin makes another leg up at like maybe 50 or 60,000, then I'm gonna be rotating out of alts, assuming alts. So right now, I think this money that's flowing out of Bitcoin is gonna find its way to alts by and large here. As soon as Bitcoin bottoms out, we need Bitcoin to bottom out. They're all gonna bleed right now together. But when Bitcoin bottoms out here and starts to show some strength, then the alts, as Bitcoin then also continues to consolidate in here, and also the other pattern we might have is this kind of wedge pattern, right? So it might be this is my traditional rocket pad. This is my rocket pad formation playing out, by the way. We had those rocket formations. This is what I call a rocket pad formation with a flat bottom, slanted top. That's a pennant, becomes a pennant. But whenever Bitcoin makes its next leg up, so it breaks 42 and goes up to 50s and 60, maybe somewhere in that range. If the alts are truly indeed running ahead of it, and we see like Ethereum make a big move like I've been expecting from where we're at, and breaks this key 40 level, this is a really important level to watch. 40,000 Satoshis. Breaks that level, it's going to make a run probably up to the 60s and 70,000 Satoshi level. That should coincide with Bitcoin making a move to 60,000 as Ethereum makes a move to say 3,000. So I'll be waiting for Ethereum 3,000 is kind of as we approach 3,000 on Ethereum. That's going to be my real trigger. But I will be exiting my altcoins. The other thing to look at. So I'll be exiting my altcoins, any trades, and then shaving my hold positions at around 50 to 60,000 Bitcoin. But I'm watching this chart too, the Bitcoin dominance chart. So we had this head and shoulders pattern play out. It sold off. We had a bear flag also play out, and it sold off. Right, so we're watching this. This is Bitcoin dominance starting to fade. We're going to find some support at 62 most likely. I'm going to watch and see what price action does at 62. The other key level is going to be this 57 level. Let me just draw this in here for you. We're going to watch price action. This is actually the level. I haven't had it on my chart, but this is the level I'm going to watch closely to see if we hold this level in the Bitcoin dominance, or if we go ahead and make it down to 50 in the early phase here. But I'll be starting to trim and be more cautious about trades as we come into 57 specifically. And if we make our way down to 50, that's another. So we'll just monitor that, right? It's a long way for Bitcoin to fall in relation to the alts. That's really what alt season's all about. And then, so Bitcoin say 50 to 60,000, and Bitcoin dominance falling to this 57 to 50 range. That'll be my trigger to get out of the alts, and then to be back in Bitcoin. It seems like it'll definitely touch 30. Yeah, probably. We'll just see if this ends up being a wick down. I really think you're just gonna have a big old wick here when it's all said and done. like this. It's going to look like this, possibly. We'll see. But I could definitely see us printing something that looks like that. Or these little wicks here. I'm jumping around way too much. I apologize. ETH is on my hardware wallet besides BTC. Good job. Alright guys, well this I think I'm gonna just wrap up here for a bit. I just meant to get on for a few minutes and see. We're coming into this ETH level. This is the level to watch. 30,230.83. That's the wick down of these other. Let's go back here. That's the weekly low. That's the main thing to watch for. That's the prior week weekly low. Give y'all a level to watch as I wrap up. Yeah, see that weekly low right there? If we close below that on a meaningful time frame, at least 4 or 8 hours, then that might signal some more downside pressure. But I do think this is probably going to just being a fake out wick when it's all said and done, and we'll just see what happens. I'd be watching it at least on the 4 hour. Let's go back to the 4 hour. So watch this on the 4 hour and see what happens with that level. Can you take a quick look at ETH? It's pushing lower right now. So ETH BTC is coming into this support, so versus Bitcoin. So we'll see if ETH BTC holds this support right here. If that closes below that and it confirms down, we're coming into this trend line here. And I will probably look to shave profit here in a little bit. If we do break down, as we come back into that to test, I'll take some profit off of my ETH BTC trade. If it looks like we're gonna get some resumption down off of that. So for me, that's what I'm watching. Now the USD chart, yeah. So we got this trend line here, and we're coming into this trend line here. This is the main thing to watch right here. What am I just getting alerted about? Oh, an attack on Bitcoin. Jordan just posted a video about an attack on Bitcoin. All right, guys, go watch Jordan's video. I'm gonna wrap up. How low can Bitcoin drop? The lowest it can go, in my book, without me getting a little bit concerned, is the 120-day SMA, and that's at 19,777. So until we sell off to 19,777, Badger don't care. Man, I don't care. I'm trading my alts versus Bitcoin, and these are the charts I care about, and they all look beautiful. Got some good trades on. I'm in profit. I probably need to look at taking some profit if we are going to have an extended sell-off in the alts, but as of right now, I'm coming into resistance here on DOT. Maybe I should take some profit. I'm still here. I actually had to just jump up and take care of something real fast, but I also saw the chart was continuing down. I thought it was going to bottom out, so if y'all want to keep hanging out here. Weeping Angel says we're headed for a huge bounce of 2728K. Yeah, I should have taken profit. Oh well. So another thing to keep in mind is like on these charts, if anybody's still here hanging out. So this sold off here, and because I was doing a live stream, I didn't take profit. Most likely, this will get if the sell-off continues, we'll get a dead cat bounce and then a resistance. So that's when I'll take profit, as I'll watch to see what happens when we come back into that level. I also have my stop. I do have stop losses that are at profit on all these. So if we just get a big monster sell-off here, basically I will be getting stopped out in profit, and then I'll basically just have to reset and just look for new setups. So not very stressful, but let's see what's happening over here with Bitcoin. It's holding that line. Hey boy, Bruno, I'm not your financial advisor. If I was looking to get into Bitcoin, I would be buying, yes. My strategy for getting back into Bitcoin is, like I told everybody on this other live stream, if I was looking to get back in, I would have set buy orders at 15, 20, and 25%. So I'd already been back in at these levels. But this level, this is a 28% sell-off. We always expect 30 to 40% sell-offs in Bitcoin. So, yeah, I would be a buyer here as we're coming in to these levels. And I would just know that you have another 10% you could go down. So this can go down another 10%, no problem. So you can go from 42 down to all the way down to that trend line that we have right there at 25,000. That would put us right at 40%. So It's a really good potential level to look for. 25,000. We did have somebody say that we're going to get a bounce of. Sad fact is that those of us watching today have likely missed out on this run. Watch the numbers, make decisions, which is possible. Yeah, so Weeping Angel says the bounce at 27.28. Let's see, Weeping Angel, let's see what you got. We got for a level on that. If you're still here, you're still with me. 27 would be a 35%. 28 would be 33%. 27 would be a 35%. Yeah, so I mean, I could see us come. Realistically, we always expect this to come back down to up to 40%. The reason I think that we're going to have a strong, this is just going to end up being a big wick right here. I think ETH is a huge buy right now. Absolutely, that's my opinion, not financial advice. Let me turn off this SMA. It's distracting the chart. All right. The reason is we already had this sell-off here, and so a second sell-off. We already know we saw it happen here. Buyers are strong there. Buyers are strong here, and we'll see if buyers are strong here. But this level has held. If we get a triple bottom here, that would obviously be a signal to any sellers that, especially if they're trying to short, that maybe they shouldn't continue to press the issue. I don't know. I'm not short selling this market. That would be suicide. Yeah, okay, we're getting a little bit of a bounce. 636. Let's see what we get on these. These are going to end up being just big old wicks. I mean, I just feel. That's what I feel. There are times I watch the market. I get a strong feel for what I think I'm seeing. And a lot of times I'm wrong, but it's just my feeling right now is this is going to turn into a big old fake out. Let's take a look at our level 2 data. So we're getting a little bit of a buy wall, immediate buy wall right around 31. It's just because, these sell-offs, people looking to get out will look for that. Exactly what I just showed you, what I would do, like on my ETH BTC. I'm not going to sell when we spike down below that support. I'm going to sell as we come back into it. And if it recovers really fast and we don't ever close below it on like a 4 hour, then I'm not going to sell. But if it closes below it on a 4 hour, as we come back into it to test it, that's when I'll sell, right? So they're all doing the same thing. So people that are wanting to get out, what they're doing is they're putting sell orders up here at right below a support level, and they're waiting for the market to do its bounce back into that support level, which is what the market's likely to do. All right. Looking at this order book here, I don't think I can pull up the live one for Binance on this is my guest window here. I just bought Bitcoin around 35. Can Bitcoin bounce back? Christopher, you're just fine, man. Don't just calm down. Or I don't know. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I would be calm and just fine here. 35,000. You bought, if you bought as it came down from 42 to 35, especially. You bought at a good level. You bought at 15% off that high. Yeah, we're gonna take out 42. We're most likely follow the charts and be smart about it. But we're in a bull phase, and we're post-halving. Institutions are buying. There's a lot of. If you go back to this chart, look at the buying activity on the right side. Let's look at that order book. You see that obviously we've got still a bit of a wall right at $30,000. There's a bunch of buyers that are going to put a floor into this thing. Now that buy wall has evaporated a little bit from what it was earlier. There was about 1,000 Bitcoin buy wall right at 30,000. But nonetheless, those buyers are probably looking like they're chasing price back here. So we're bouncing back 30s. But you look at this order book, the trade history on the right, and look at our. I can't. I have to log in to actually see the zoom out on the order book. It's a bit busy at this lower level. But you see that there's a lot more buying interest and selling interest in the immediate price levels. So from the high 20s to the mid 30s, there's a lot more market participants that are advertising that they're looking to buy by the fact that they have limit orders in. Now, It doesn't mean that they're going to buy at those levels. As we come into those levels, they may move their limit orders or cancel them altogether. But I'm not that rich to buy Bitcoin around 700 bucks. All right. Is there a bunch of background noise? It sounds like I'm like watching my mic. What mic am I using? Hold on, guys, 1 second. I'm using my Q9 mic. It's weird. I've been doing this for a couple of years, and I'm even panicking because this happened. This happened so fast. Well, yeah, it can be stressful. I mean, I'm not panicking because my whole goal is to gain more Bitcoin via trading alts, and my cost average on Bitcoin is way below $30,000. So, you know, for me, it's not that stressful. But I mean, yeah, people that bought in more recently, it's very stressful when you're down on your initial investment. Just know this: always expect. I always do. Whenever I enter a trade, or especially a position trade where it's like a long-term hold, I expect that I'm going to be down for a period of time. It's like paying your dues, basically. That's the way I always feel about it. So I always just kind of expect that I'm going to pay my dues and watch my position be red for a period of time until my thesis plays out. On trades, I'm a lot less forgiving of that, right? I have my stop loss, I have my trades set up, and I know where I'm wrong, and I don't let it go below that. But I also kind of assume that I'm not going to be, in my head, I assume I'm going to be floating between my entry price and my stop loss for a period of time, and I just mentally prepare myself just to watch the price go sideways on me until it continues moving in the direction of the trend, which is why I would have placed a trade to begin with. So, just always expect when you buy something that you're actually going to be in red for a little bit. And if it's a position trade, like if you're just buying Bitcoin to acquire and hold, just know that you're probably going to be red for a period of time because that's the way the market works. And very very rarely do you buy something and it literally ticks up right after you buy it and you never see that price again. I mean, it's like super rare to almost never happens, right? The market moves up and down. So look at any point in here. Where would you have had to buy for the market to not tick ever below the level you bought? Right, maybe right here. This breakout right here is the last place. Unless you were the person that bought literally in this couple hour window, those are the only people that have really not seen their position go negative. And you know, if you look at all the people who have bought and sold since then, everybody else has had to deal with seeing their position be red for some period of time. Right, and then the people who bought in this extension right here also. And on Bitcoin charts, you can find more of those than most other charts. Most other charts, you can't really find places where a participant who entered for a long-term position wasn't red for at least saw their position go red at some point. Dude, should I top up again Bitcoin because of the low price? Yeah, I would. I mean, you know, if you believe it, if you understand Bitcoin, and you know what's going on with the halving cycle, and you believe in it, and you're not fully positioned yet, this is your chance. This is it. This is what you should have been waiting for. Buy ETH. Oh yeah, ETH. Let's look at ETH. I'm sorry. Somebody asked to look at ETH earlier. ETH is looking a little bit. I mean, we got really strong support at 960. I told somebody it wouldn't come back to 1,000. I'm totally going to eat my words, it looks like. But look, this is why I didn't think it was coming back to 9,000. Is this? So. Just follow my I'm going to go to, let's stay on this time frame. Follow my mindset. All right, so we had this consolidation, extension, breakout, retest, resumption, peak, sell-off, resumption, sell-off, bounce, sell-off, bounce, sell-off, retest, resumption. All right, so what's the market showing us all that mess that we saw? A couple of things. One, it's in an uptrend. It's going up, right? We're getting, at a macro view, we're printing higher lows over time. But the other thing, and you're getting big, strong legs of expansion and consolidation, which is healthy in a strong market. The other thing it shows me is that the market has a couple of levels it likes. It likes this level right here. It's come back to test it and bounced off of it a couple times, and then this level You see it wicked up past it and it got rejected. And then we wicked down to it, found support. And then wicked up, wicked down, and we just now wicked down to it. So I see an uptrend, right? I could draw, it's a busy enough chart. I could draw more trend lines in here for you, but I see an uptrend clearly. I see 2 good support levels. And I see a market that's appropriately bouncing around this, being with the strong expansion that we see. Look at this move. You're going to see volatility. From this point, this is a couple hours, right? This is like literally, maybe, I'm on a 4-hour chart. It's like a 24-hour period. This thing moved 60% in 4 hours. I mean, for as a few hours. It went from 600 to 1168 or something in a day, roughly. Right? That's volatility. That is strong upward momentum, and you're going to have volatility both directions. Volatility is great if in an uptrend because you're going to move up strong, but you're going to come back down strong. You're going to get whipped around. But when you zoom out a little bit, you're going to see a monster move. Like, look at Bitcoin. Even if, forget this ever happened over here, right? Forget any of this ever happened. Forget we ever got to these levels. If literally you saw this chart going like this, you'd be super happy to be at $30,000 right now. That's a really healthy chart. The fact that we went up to 42 and then back down, I mean, you can only ask for so much. That's super strong bullish action. So if you're nervous about this right now, just take a deep breath. It's been moving up strong. You bought with the trend. You bought, especially if you bought like 35,000, you bought on a support level, right? The market showed you a support level right around there. Maybe more of a, you might have bought, that might have been more of a, you bought on a support level right there, 35,000. 35,000, the market showed us some support. Now, it wasn't super strong support, but it showed us some support. You bought on support in an uptrend. It's okay. You're probably going to find yourself in a red position for a period of time. It's just the way it works. But I think you did a good thing buying at 35. I hope that answers your question. What's the double sell on BTC? Is it real? Oh, the double. I did a video earlier. Let me pull up my channel for you. I'm listening to Doge Wave over here, by the way. Let me pull up my channel. Go check out my video on. I'm live right now. I just did a video on the double hack. Was it Bitcoin hacked, FUD, double spin breakdown? So I broke down the tech. I explained the FUD, the news. We looked at the news first. Then I explained the technology of what, how Bitcoin works. Just a quick rehash, and with the double spin, what it was, and also why it's not an issue. And I explained, how Bitcoin clears up those type of things. That's how the network works. And then we looked at some charts on that one. Also, I would encourage you, if you're wondering what a double spin is in general, to go check out my video. If we go to my Bitcoin playlist, I've got a bunch of different playlists, maybe too many. If I go to my Bitcoin playlist, how do I find that? Trading, liked videos, news. I thought I had one dedicated for Bitcoin. Oh, I do it there. All right, so my Bitcoin playlist, I do a Bitcoin, right here, the Bitcoin Secrets Revealed white paper breakdown. You might want to check out that one. We literally walked through the original Satoshi Nakamoto white paper, more or less chunk by chunk, and I explain the technical, how it all works. So maybe some good resources for you to check out on my channel there. The trend is your friend until the end, 360. I agree. I agree with Baith. Thank God it's bouncing back up. Yeah, just take a deep breath. You're all right. And we won't. Don't like these 3 people never saw red. So I hope Justin, that the double spin problem, not the double sell problem. The double spin problem is what Satoshi originally figured out how to solve. I got like the chat, how's ETH? Do I prefer ETH or BTC? I just did a video. Speaking of videos, I just did a video. Is it on the BTC channel? No, this is an Ethereum focused video. I go back to my channel. Sorry for walking y'all through this, but if I go back to my video, it's a recent video. I just did an Ethereum versus Bitcoin, and I literally walked through. Take a look at that video. I walked through what's the better investment for. So I walked through several different areas. We scored it on 5 different major criterias, the 2 of them, and then I gave you both my price predictions and my what's the better buy for 2021 and what's the better buy for the next 10 years. So take a look at that video to get those answers and get all that breakdown. To answer your question, at this moment in time, the safer buy if you're buying with US dollars is probably Bitcoin. Ethereum has more upside. If you're buying for the next 2 to 3 months, Ethereum. If you're buying for 2021, Bitcoin. That's my answer. And if you're buying for longer, watch the video. Is it going to go down? Is Bitcoin going to go down? T-Dub? No, I think we're coming into some good support here. Now, could it? Absolutely. I don't have a, as Jordan said, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what's going to happen. I've got all these levels of support that I'm watching. This white one's the most important right now, and that blue trend line. Those two are the most important right now to watch. I've got this 120-day SMA. It's way too far down there to be watching that right now. We need to be watching the 50-day SMA if you're going to watch any other indicators outside of trend lines. I would say the 50, which comes in at 27, which we had somebody earlier say 27, 28 would be their bounce point. That's a smart bounce point. I could see us trading all the way down to 25,000. It's a pretty good support trend line, and then 23 would be a bit much just because we already kind of consolidated there, but we never had a good consolidation around 25, but we didn't have good consolidation around 13.8 either. So we consolidated below it and then broke it above it, and we just took off. So we're in an explosive bull market phase. So these dips are going to get bought up fast. These dips are going to turn into wicks very quickly. So we'll just see. Right now, so on the 1 hour, like a really low time frame for me, we held that weekly low wick down from last week, and we're bouncing back up into this trend line. Now, this trend line is going to serve as resistance for this very short time frame. But the key is, where do you close, right? And the 1 hour close is not really that important. The 4, 8, and 12 hour are more important because they're divisions of a day, right? So the daily close is the most important, and the weekly. Daily, weekly, monthly closes matter a lot more than anything else. But because you can divide a day up in 12, 8, 4 hours, those also become significant in evaluating price action. So those are what I watch, like close. So I'll watch to see if we close below this trend line, or below this. Let me show you how I drew that trend line, or below this. What we call this a Heath level. I call it a Heath level. It's actually a little bit lower than I drew it. If we close below that, wicking down below it is one thing. Closing below it's another. I'm going to show you how I drew this trend line. So this trend line is really the top end of a channel, but I don't want the chart to be overly busy as it already is. So what I do is that channel. I just take the channel off the chart. My channels are going to get retarded. Trading Views wants to be done with me right now. Sorry, guys. So yeah, basically I have this channel, right? It's really a channel, but because I don't want the chart to be too busy, I just take the channel off. So it's the top end of that channel. So we broke out of a channel. So we had a really strong uptrend channel since we broke this 12,000 level here and started a really strong uptrend. We came into the all-time high, and this gives us some more wick up on the way up to that all-time high. We had a little bit of a sell-off, came back into it, consolidated for a little bit longer, then blasted through it, right? But this is how I got this top end of this channel. So we broke out of that channel on this very strong move above the all-time high, some consolidation, and then we made such a strong move, came back down to that trend line, tested a support, wicked down to it, and that formed the upper end of our channel. So now this is the price. We're watching price action above that channel. So again, a close on the 4 hour below that would make me think otherwise. This level right here, Fibonacci levels, especially in extensions, are highly subjective. So fib levels work well in a range bound market where you can find your swing highs and your swing lows within a very confined period of time, and then for a forward-looking, short period forward-looking, you can usually get some pretty good levels that especially computers seem to try to trade around. But in extension, the problem with a fib level on extension, I came up with this level and I marked it in there because I was happy with that fib level work, but I'm going to do a fib level extension for you guys real fast. I'm going to show you what I mean. So what I think I took is I anchored the fib level on this swing low, the $3,800 sell-off that we had. And then I picked the prior all-time high, which was where we consolidated against, had the big sell-offs, and then finally broke out of. and then I drew some extension levels up where I did vertical from there, and that's how I came up with that 32,686 level. So also, just notice this. So that level is the 786 Fibonacci extension level. So if we anchor, now this is the problem with extensions, is where do you anchor? And anchoring is a big deal in getting it right with Fibonacci levels in general, but especially in extensions. That means when you're moving out of a price range. So from this swing low to the swing high that I picked was the all-time high, and then I drew a Fibonacci extension from there, and I got 32,686 for a very key 786 level. Notice this, we have been holding mostly above that 786 level. We've wicked down. Look at that, right where we just now wicked down to. The computers watch this stuff more than humans do, I think. The 618 level. Look at that just now. What we just did, what I just drew. Look how close we came to the 786 level, and that's where we really found support. So that may be what the computers were watching, and they were very fervently buying coming into that Fibonacci level, and that means that whoever programmed that computer also saw the chart the same way I did and did this Fibonacci extension on the same anchor levels. And they're highly subjective. You can anchor them all over the place, get all kinds of different results. But that's what I was watching, and it seems to be playing out pretty well. We came into resistance on it. We blasted through the 236 and the 382, consolidated between the 382 and the half, and then from a half to the 618 level. We've come down and test that 618 level several times. So interesting stuff. Let's go to the comments. Do I prefer BTC? I hope that answered that question. Do I prefer BTC or ETH? I mean, I like them both. 30K. I agree. It's a huge psychological level as well. 30,000. ETH is moving according to BTC, and BTC had news of double spin today. Experts still investigating double spin is true. Hey Justin, the double spin was what we call a I'm going to lose the term now. I'm trying to think about live. When you have multiple transactions in a single block. Anyway, I did a whole video on it. So just go check out my video that I broke down the whole the double spin. It's not a problem. And it gets resolved. It got resolved in the very next block. It'll almost always, those type of things happen a lot. And you just don't ever hear about them in the news because Bitcoin's making a lot of news right now. I mean, it happened over here like 2 or 3 times. None of y'all heard about it, but it gets resolved within a block or two. So it's just transactions sitting in a mempool somewhere, and what happened is one miner happened to pick out of 2 transactions. One had a higher miner reward. Whatever the word is I'm looking for. I'm losing my terms here. My brain's blanking out a little bit, but the transaction had more of a payout for the miner. And so he had 2 transactions from one source wallet to 2 different wallets. And what normally happens in that scenario is the miners will pick the one with the higher miner reward fee to include as the transaction. Well, what ended up happening is the miner who mined the block actually picked the lower of the 2, the first transaction, which had a lower miner fee, this is a thing. If you try to, so if I accidentally send a transfer to the wrong address. So say I have 1 Bitcoin in my wallet, and I'm sending literally 1 Bitcoin to another wallet. I'm just going to recap this. My video. Go watch my video for a lot more detail. But if I have 1 Bitcoin and I send 1 Bitcoin to another wallet address, I actually am going to send like 0.99999 90. So say I left, whatever Satoshis for the miner reward, and then I realized I sent it to the wrong address, and so this was I'm A, and I sent to B, but I realized I need to send it to wallet X. I sent it to the wrong wallet. So what I can do is to try to incentivize the miners before this gets mined into a block wallet sitting in something temporary called the mempool. Before it gets minted into a block, it's just floating in the mempool. I can go ahead and send a second transaction and say wallet X. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to send 0.9999, 5. And so now I'm leaving, instead of 100 Satoshis, I'm leaving 5,000 Satoshis or something for the miner's reward. And so what I'm hoping is that the miners respect that and decide to take this transaction and keep this amount of money for themselves, right? And so I'm assuming they're going to do that. They're going to want the computer's going to pick this transaction instead of my first transaction. However, if this transaction comes in too late, the miner that mines this block may actually go ahead and just use this transaction to finish closing that block. And so that's what happened. Is the miner who actually mined this block chose this first transaction, and he didn't actually decide to use the bigger transaction, so he kept a smaller reward for himself. And so this person who sent to the wrong address inadvertently the first time and then fixed it and sent it to the right address, well, this miner did not respect that. And so this transaction was now invalid. And so now the permanent state of the blockchain is that this is the valid transaction. And it was a small transaction of $22 roughly, but nonetheless, that's what happened. That's why it looked weird, is because we would normally expect the miner to pick this, but it just happened to be the time sequencing of events is that the miner picked this first transaction. And that's the risk you can take if you send to the wrong address and you try to fix it before the block is mined. If you try to get that other transaction in before the miner picks your first transaction, and you try to fix it by giving them a little more reward. That's all that happened. And it's normal, and it's not a big deal. And it got resolved. The very next block got mined, and then now we were several blocks later, and it's totally resolved. And yeah, the person who sent the $22 to the wrong address, oh well, sorry, somebody, whatever the first address was you sent it to is who got it. So sorry you messed up sending it to your address, but that's the way it works. So yeah, it's no big deal, but people made it a big deal. They called it a double spin. Double spins can happen in the mempool. I mean, you can submit a bunch of different transactions in the mempool, and the miners they're only gonna select one of those transactions, right? And that's the way it works. And then you get in situations where you get a fork in the chain where you have two miners also simultaneously mine a block at the exact same time. And then you have if there's any difference in transaction, well, there is a difference in transaction because it's cryptographically totally different. And then the network has to sort out who's the winner. And how the network sorts that out is the better connected node will typically win, because if he's got a lot better connections and all of his peers, he's got, say, 80% of the Bitcoin network he's connected to, and the other one's more isolated, the next block that gets mined will likely have an affinity for the better connected miner, and that's typically the chain that wins out. And then it's a normal thing, as soon as all the 20% that had the other chain, as soon as they receive the longer chain from the rest of the 80% of the network, they discard the shorter chain and move on. And it's no big deal. The network continues on. So go see my video on the breakdown and my Bitcoin white paper breakdown if you really want a lot of detail. But this is no big deal. It's a lot of FUD to go along with Janet Yellen's statements, and they're obviously making up facts. So I did a little funny video on that. The facts that they threw out are totally, a third of 1% of Bitcoin transactions are used for illicit activity, and between 2 and 5% of the U.S. dollars transaction volume is used for illicit activity. And so it dwarfs. It's 4 trillion versus 10 billion. $4 trillion in U.S. dollars are used for illicit activity, money laundering, and funding basically a bucket of bad guys. And 10 billion of that is Bitcoin. The other thing is Bitcoin's a public ledger. So if you want to get caught, use Bitcoin. That's the best way to get caught, is to use Bitcoin. All right. I've been talking a lot about tech stuff. I'm geeking out. Sorry, you guys are probably hearing more for the charts and the price levels. But obviously we're bouncing back, like I thought. Now we're above that trend line. So on the 12-minute, the 1 hour. So you see this 1 hour right here? The market made a really strong bounce to close that 1 hour. So we opened. So what happened is, we sold off. Wick. This is a wick in the other direction. Obviously, we had some buying pressure that continued to push, but we're now back on that level in the 1 hour. So that means, and more importantly, the 4 hour is not looking like it wants to close below those levels. And if the 4 hour closes above this or this, then the next thing is to watch the next 4 hour and or the 8 hour. Sometimes they line up, obviously. Let's see what the 8 hour does, and then we'll watch the 12 hour, then the daily. And the last 4 hour of the day also prints the daily, so that's the most significant one. It depends on what chart you're looking at through the data feed. All right, what do y'all? It's all about BTC, I guess. As long as BTC is dumping ETH will too. Well, look at the ETH BTC chart. right? So I've been on my channel and on my Twitter, I've been talking a lot about these trades. This downtrend that we were watching, we broke out of this downtrend, the Ethereum versus Bitcoin. So I had trades on. Don't count this one, but I did have a small trade on trying to bottom fish as we double bottomed on this support. But as we broke out here, I put a trade on here, took profit there, something like that. Anyway, but we had a really good breakout retest resumption here, really good trade opportunity on this breakout retest of that trend line. So a lot of us have been in profitable trades on ETH versus BTC. There, this is another great entry right there. And then we might end up getting another entry here. We'll just see what happens with these levels. But yeah, ETH and BTC move together for the most part, but they do move independent of each other. This is the historical ETH to Bitcoin chart. And you can see it moves wildly. I mean, it's a huge movements. And so what we've been also anticipating on this channel and Conquering the Markets, Jordan's channel, is I've been expecting anyway, a move. So this 40,000 satoshis or 0.4, is it? It's more than 40,000 satoshis, whatever it is. This 0.4 level, 04 level, is a pretty significant resistance. But if we can break that as well, so this is a pretty good move from this breakout up to this 0.4 level. That's what I've been playing. And I'm going to be careful coming into this 0.4 level because I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I'll probably take profit. That's where I was looking to take profit, honestly. That's why I haven't taken profit yet on these trades I have on here. I'm waiting to that level. But I'll take profit into this level and I'll watch price action. And I will, it's like a little bit of an insurance premium. But I take profit coming into this. If it blasts through, most likely it's going to come back to retest and resume, and I'll re-enter a trade for the next leg up. So I'm going to pay a little bit of an insurance premium. I might end up holding through it. We'll just see how price reacts. But then I'm really expecting a move on the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. Let's see what type of move this would be from where we're at today to my take profit levels. It's somewhere between a 70% and 120% profit trade, and your downside is super low. So this is the type of trade we're setting up right now. So your stop loss would be maybe down here, and your take profit somewhere way up here. And this is our current price action. That's it. That's what I've been watching. That's what I've been trying to take advantage of. So those are the trades I'm in on Ethereum. So they do move together largely, but they do have moments where they move very independently. A great example of that was this summer, the whole DeFi craze. This was a big spike. This is why we're watching that 0.4 level. This is where Ethereum spiked up to versus Bitcoin, this level, and then sold off as Bitcoin made its bull market initial move. And then now Ethereum's showing some strength. Now watch on the ETH chart, this was that summer right here, this summer pop right here. So we had all this consolidation, and then we took off, and a lot of us were in trades down here, or at least in positions. And as it came into this level, that's that peak. So it blasted out of the gates ahead of Bitcoin in this bull market actually. So they move independently often. What's your price target for ETH December 2021? ETH will be coming down most likely in December 2021. So we're not in a lengthening cycle. We're probably in a shorter cycle. I'm thinking that Bitcoin's going to top out late September, early October. That would mean that ETH is probably going to top out mid-October to late October. And then we'll be in a bear market by next December. That's what I think. So my price target for ETH in, say, late October is probably 10,000. I'm looking for ETH to go to 3,000 in the next couple of months. I think it's going to shock some people and just really make... So let's go back to this. This is also kind of why I think that. You see when Bitcoin fought with its prior all-time high and consolidated below it, and then it broke out, what did it do? It made a monster move up to just about 2x. So it went from 20 to 40. It went 2x its prior all-time high and then overshot that a little bit to 42. I expect ETH to have a very similar momentum run where it's going to fight underneath its prior all-time high like it's been doing, consolidate under here, a very, very similar pattern to what Bitcoin did under its all-time high. And then I expect once we enter price discovery, we're going to have a very similar 2x of the prior all-time high pop in Ethereum. So my initial take profit target in the next few months is 3,000. And then in the latter phase of the bull market in October, I'll be looking for about 10,000. Hello from Romania. What do you think about Ripple? I have it at the very bottom because I like to laugh at it. I'm being very rude. I don't like Ripple. I think it's trash. But that's just my opinion. That's my opinion. If you like it, I apologize. I just think they've been a scam for so long. I'm a fan of Stellar XLMs. Stellar is the open forked version of it. The truly decentralized version of Stellar. This is the project, and I have it at the very top of my chart because I'm watching it closely for a break of this downtrend trend line. Just like we had with Ethereum, had that break of the downtrend and started having some strong moves. I plan to put some trades on Stellar if we break out of here. So Stellar is my play in that space. I've never, ever bought Ripple, not once. Never owned any Ripple ever. And this is my Ripple to BTC chart. This is why. I mean, look at it. It's in a terminal downtrend. It has these crazy spikes, but I think those spikes are no more. Also, I've also predicted, and I also don't like Litecoin, just FYI, or Bitcoin Cash. I've long predicted that Cardano, Chainlink, and I added Polkadot later, so I won't take credit for saying Polkadot as months ago. Oh, my camera died on me, sorry. I've always thought that they're going to pass up XRP for sure, and a bunch of projects are going to pass up Litecoin, like Uniswap, maybe Monero, probably not Monero. VeChain, I think even VeChain down here at 22. They're all going to pass up. We're going to pass up Litecoin. Litecoin's going to continue to fade. And I've been saying it. Everybody listen, don't. You can trade it if you get a good trade setup, sure. But you got to trade it versus Bitcoin, because if you're holding it versus the US dollar, you may look decent. It's like there's a meme that alts versus the US dollar and alts versus Bitcoin. But it's not. Bitcoin's destroying it, and it will continue to do so. There's just no purpose in holding Litecoin or Ripple or any of these other projects, I don't think. Is take profit for traders, not holders? Oh, well, I mean, it just depends. Like for me, I hold Bitcoin, but I position trade Bitcoin. So pretty much anything I own, I position trade, right? My house, my car, whatever it is. But at the right price, I'll sell it. So that's the thing. Is a position trade to me is I'm trying to buy on really strong support in a in a macro sense on a very long uptrend and just hold it. When I'm trading, I'm looking for a lot higher fidelity entries, and I have a very, very tight stop loss. With position trades, not so much, right? So if you're a Bitcoin holder, I think you would be wise to sell on a monster spike, or at least take a loan out versus your Bitcoin, or however you want to play that. I'll be selling it when the time is right. Now I might hold on to some, but I'll sell the majority. But yeah, for me, like when I talk about these charts here, I need to probably do a video of how I would spend $1,000 on one of those videos everybody does. But basically, I'm like 70% Bitcoin for the sake of just keeping it simple. 10% Ethereum, 10% Cardano, and 5% Link and Dot, or something along those lines. Something like that as far as an allocation in my portfolio. So I might trim down from if Ethereum and ADA completely blow up versus Bitcoin. Basically, what I'll do is I'll manage my portfolio. So I will take profit, quote unquote, but all I'll do is be rebalancing my portfolio. So if Ethereum blows up and Cardano does too, and they become say 20% and 20% of my portfolio, then my version of taking profit on my long-term hold positions will be to resize them back down to 10%. And that'll be the equivalent of taking profit, of course, as well. But I'll do it on a technical basis. I'll do it as the charts dictate as well. When my trades, I think the trades are starting to come to an end, is when I'll also do the same thing on my positions. How do you feel about the Chinese New Year will play out? I don't know anything about the Chinese New Year. You're asking the wrong person. Which is the best crypto project, do I think? Cardano. Well, outside of the big guys, outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum, I think Ethereum's a good project. Cardano, Polkadot, and Chainlink are my big three. I like Cardano the best for this cycle because of the many things they have coming. Polkadot's been extremely strong, and I've had to change my position on them. I was kind of sour on Polkadot, but I've had to lick my wounds and say I was wrong on that. They are super strong. It's a really good project. I have videos. You'll check out my channel under playlists, and I think oversimplified, an oversimplified series. I have videos on Ethereum 2.0, crypto wallets, Cardano, Link, Polkadot, and I break down Cardano, Link, and Polkadot, and as well as Bitcoin here. Yeah, you can find all these in my oversimplified playlist. So, and this is like my how to buy Bitcoin video, and then the Bitcoin white paper video is the big one. Polkadot, Chainlink, and Cardano, I've got breakdowns, and Ethereum 2.0, I've got breakdowns for all those. Check those out. All right, guys, it looks like we're going to hold for now as far as the charts go. I think I'm getting a little bit long on this random live stream we lit up. So far, we're holding. Those are your levels if you guys want to watch them on your own time. I've got 30,266, or 30,000. Just 30,000 in general is a good round number. And that's actually right at that fib level we talked about. The 618 fib level. I will post this on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter it's Crypto Jedi. I'll go ahead and just post that fib level chart right now. It's CYPT0JED1. It should be in the video description too. But I'll post that there if y'all want to keep an eye on these exact charts. Do like a 12-hour. All right, thanks everybody. Orchid, I'm gonna real fast answer your question on Orchid. Orchid's got some cool tech. Look at the Bitcoin chart. It's just in a terminal decline. You would need to show some strength for me to be interested in it. It's a bad decline. I guess you could probably take a look at this. It looks like you got a downtrend right here. You see that? Those touches. So this is your downtrend. You gotta break above that downtrend, and really you need to break above. You see how this support level here broke? We touched it, and it was trying to hold the support for a while. You've got multiple touches of it. Actually, I would draw it up a little bit there, right there. Get above that level. That's the 4015 level. Get rid of this level. So you got to break out above this. You can maybe take a small trade, take profit into that level. That's an Orchid, but Orchid's been beat down. So, do I have a playlist on technical analysis? Yes, I do. My playlist for technical analysis is, I think it's simply called, hold on. Darn it, I gotta go to my channel again. Sorry, guys. Playlists, I think it's just called technical analysis or something like that. Trading, it's called trading. Let's see here, late night introduction, crypto, BTC, live sessions, top picks, news, trading right here. This trading playlist is a bunch. It's all technical analysis. I only have 2 videos in here. I need to put more videos in here. I'm sorry, but yeah. All right. Thanks for all the likes. Thanks for all the views. Everybody, take care. It looks like. Let's see if we get a hold here. I'll post this right now to Twitter so everybody can watch this. You can copy this chart as much as y'all want. All right. Take care.